Welcome to Follow Everton. Ryan here, just leaving Goodison Park now. Everton have just conceded in the last minute, literally the last minute, to Wolves. It came after a shocking sequence where James Tarkowski and Ben Godfrey are passing it side to side to each other for felt like an eternity. The fans are booing. Everyone's up front for Everton. And Wolves break. Everton have got everyone forward. Adama Traore takes it wide. Wolves have got an overload at the back post. And the ball goes over to the back post where they were queuing up for Wolves to score. No sign of Nathan Patterson. No sign of Ben Godfrey. And, you know, we're a complete embarrassment. Wolves are bottom of the league. Stay with me 1 second. Can you hear me now? Just leaving Goodison now. Don't know whether anyone heard what I said, but fucking absolutely pathetic. Godfrey and Tarkowski passing it sideways to each other. Everyone's caught up front. Adama Traore picks it up on the counter and crosses it into the back post where they're queuing up for Wolves to score.
North because an Ashton South full-time scores will
All right, you all right?
Hey Jeff, your camera's not working.
I know. I don't
And we
know
are
why.
live, by the way. We are live. People, oh, don't know where Jeff's gone. Can anyone hear me? Can someone confirm in the comments? Sorry about all the delays. You know what the signal's like trying to get out of Goodison. Can someone just very quickly confirm in the comments they can hear? Or I shall just continue. 6 weeks have passed since we last played the game with the World Cup, and absolutely nothing has changed. Nothing has improved. It is the complete same shite that we saw before the World Cup. I don't know what these players have been working on. We still look absolutely toothless. We created about 2 chances in the whole match. One of them was the corner we scored from. To be fair, there was 3 chances. There was another chance. Gordon tried to be too cute with the finish, and it was easily saved. And then there was a 3rd chance at the end of the game, literally as soon as Tom Cannon came on. But apart from that, we created nothing.
No.
The fans resent their own team. The fans absolutely hate their own team. Just before the goal itself, the fans in the stadium, all around me in the park, and to be fair, around the whole ground, were booing because there was a sequence of play where James Tarkowski and Ben Godfrey, who looked like a rabbit coming out of the headlights, were passing side to side to each other for around, it felt like an eternity, but there was at least 10 passes there.
It was 12.
Exchange.
Can you hear me now?
12 passes then. And then, yeah, I can hear you, Jeff. So I'm just letting everyone know what's going on. And in that sequence, the fans are obviously asking for urgency with a couple of minutes played. But really what happens is we've got no creativity. So we end up hoofing it forward to no one. Literally no one. We've got nothing. The ball comes straight to us. Adama Traore on the right wing. Mikalenko, who had a stinker against Traore when he came on, couldn't cope with his pace and strength and his quick feet. And they're queuing up at the back post, and I just put my head down straight away because I knew there was no one there. Patterson was nowhere. Godfrey was nowhere. No one read the situation. Garner was off the pitch, replaced with the lump of shite, the Corey. And Wolves, who were bottom of the league, away from home on Boxing Day, go away with the win. And you know what, Jeff? I'm at the point now where I couldn't give a shit whether Lampard is sacked. I've seen nothing in the 6 weeks that make me think we've been working on anything. I would have had a deal, players lined up, ready to be announced. It's a complete disgrace what went on today. It was pathetic.
Well, the one thing I was going to say is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And we went in that game today, and it was an easily winnable game.
Yeah,
It's not even a close debate that it was a winnable game. You've got players there. Like, why did Tom Cannon come on with 9 minutes to go in a game that we need a goal? Like, bring him on, like, with half an hour to go. Give him a chance. Bringing him on with 9 minutes to go and expecting him to do something is ridiculous. Mopé is a bag of shit. He's absolutely rubbish. I don't know why we got him. He's a pointless waste of space. But he'll probably be good for the championship because that's where we're gonna be. Like that was appallingly bad. And what's really annoyed me is we've had 5 weeks, or 5 or 6 weeks, and in 5 or 6 weeks we can't even get players fit enough that they're going down with cramp with half an hour to go.
Yeah,
like they've had 6 weeks off, and they can't even get to a level of fitness where they can get through a 90-minute game, which wasn't played at a ridiculous pace, by the way. So the idea that, Yerry Mina, okay, he's biscuit legs, fair enough. Like, I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. But, Mikalenko, like, why is he going down with cramp? He's 22 years old, and he's had 5-6 weeks off, and they've just been training. How's he going down with cramp?
You've got only 3 players actually went to the World Cup for Everton, or 4 players. Cody, Pickford, Onana, and Garner. And, you've got the core squad there. They should be working. I don't know what they were working on. We'll bring Dan in and find out what he thought they were working on. Dan, what were Everton working on over the international break? Because it didn't look like we improved on absolutely anything.
I think there's some things that you can take out of it, but there was a lot that was bad as well. I don't know. I'm mixed emotions at the minute because fact is we're seeing Onana sit in the 6, which I thought had a good game in that position. Garner Gay pushed higher, which I was happy with him higher. I thought Garner Gay was probably one of the better games he's had since he's come. He's been shit, but I thought he was better higher. And Gordon was whipping balls in, and we wasn't that good, but we looked like we could win the game through most of the game. We did look like we could win it. Apart from us being like if we go back to the goal was shit. But we did look like we could win the game. I generally thought we could win it.
Both goals were pathetic, Dan. Dan, I'm sorry, but I completely disagree with you. I sat with David in the park and we were saying to each other, we don't look like scoring. We don't know what the strategy is to score. You could quite clearly see Wolves wanted to get in behind our fullbacks and pull it back across the face. For
the thing is, though, Ryan, how can you? Yeah, but Ryan, this is to you. The chance that Patterson had, the chance that Mupé could have run straight through if he wasn't a slow fat shit, he could have been through easy. The chance that Gordon had one-on-one, Gordon had a one-on-one with the keeper, and the keeper made a good save. How can you say we didn't look like scoring? We had 3 one-on-ones.
Well, we had the one chance Gordon would try to be too cute, but that's his 90 minutes at home against the bottom of the league team. And you can only, and you should be able to recall more than one chance from Anthony Gordon.
Iwobi had the header.
Mopé is 50, 60 yards from goal, and you're calling that a chance. That wasn't a chance. The Gordon one was a chance. The Iwobi one was offside, and the one as soon as Tom Cannon came on was a bit of a goal mouth scramble.
And Godfrey had a chance as well. Godfrey hit it and cleared it off the line.
It was all in the same phase of play. It was all after Cannon came on. There was very, very little happened throughout the entire game apart from 3 or 4 events.
I think Gordon whipped a couple of balls in. If we had a striker, he would have put the ball in the back of the net. Gordon whipped loads of balls across. Yeah, if we had a striker, that's what I'm saying to you. We had chances, but we haven't got a striker.
But we have got a striker.
Well, we had a striker put on Cannon,
he's actually 6'2", and he's in form, and he's scoring goals. And I don't give a shit whether he's 19 or 20. He's still better than Neil Mopé.
I'm not being funny. The moment, Jeff, the moment we put the ball through, and Mopé should have out sprinted him because he was ahead of him and scored 1-on-1. The moment he did that, he showed he wasn't good enough for me. I'd have brought him off and put Cannon on. I would have
He
put
should-
Cannon on
Yeah,
at
exactly.
half time.
Not good enough about one game in for me. He's slow, lethargic. You know, the thing with Mopé, actually, to his credit, he's one that does actually press. But unfortunately, he's asked to press the centre back and then press the keeper and then press the opposition fullback. You know, the only time we looked good was when we pressed as a group, and that was for 2 or 3 occasions in the whole match. The rest of the time, we allowed Wolves to play out. We press as singular individuals, and then wonder why we're getting dominated.
So this is where I'm going to have.
Ghana, they were all.
So this is where I'm going. Go on. I was going to say. So this is where I'm going to have my first criticism of Lampard. And say why are we playing one up front at home to the worst team in the league?
And Jeff, it wasn't even one.
Play two up top. Just put 2 midfielders in, put 2 wingers in, play a 4-4-2, and if you have to hit long ball, then you've got Tom Cannon up there who's 6'3" or something like that, who can hold the ball up, and then you've got your little annoying forward in Mopé who can hassle the run the channels and he can annoy people, he can draw fouls, he can do that kind of stuff. But at least then you're actually trying. Yeah, I know he annoys people. But then at least you're sort of trying something, and it's like, well, no, he's young. He's not got enough experience. It's like, I don't give a shite. He's still better than a 5'8" centre forward who you can cross the ball to all day, but he's not going to get near anything because he's 5'8".
But why have we got Pickford and co booting the ball up to 5'8" striker? 5'8" striker who it bounces off him half the time. And it's the brain dead things, like, you don't need to do that. You know, you're chipping it into Gray on the wing, you know, who's got a 50-50 against the defender. And it's the little things that we also do that play against us. I know what you're saying about the one up front, but if you actually look at the formation, I took some pictures. I can't actually upload them on this, but Mopé is like in the centre, and then the 2 wide players for us are very, very wide. And then the fullbacks are behind, and no one from midfield joins Mopé.
You're not actually driving, are you?
The only time.
You're in the passenger seat, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the passenger seat. The only time we actually had players forward surrounding the striker was when Cannon came on and Decore came on, and we played with this like Christmas tree formation where that's a really bad analogy, but everyone around the centre of the pitch, we tried to overload the middle and get it forward, but it just completely backfired.
What pissed me off?
There's 100 watching, by the way.
The biggest thing that pissed me off most of all was that we were so nice. Like, I seen Mina shake hands with Costa at half time. I seen Mina shake hands with the freaking coaching staff. I seen Tarkowski when Costa could have got sent off because the ref was arguing with Costa. And Tarkowski, our player, has run over to him and said to the referee, leave Costa alone. Leave Costa alone. That's our opposition. That's who we've got to be. And it was all nice. This game was massive. This game was massive for us. Honestly, that's going to be a team we compete with to stay up. That was 6 points for them. This game's massive. Well, and we didn't act. We didn't act, Jeff. That game that we watched, we didn't play like it was massive. The one-on-one we missed when we know how important it is for us to score that second goal. The chances that we had, we didn't play how we should have.
We've got Man City away. We're going to get stuffed. And then we've got 2 more home games. Can anyone see us beating Brighton? Because I can't. Brighton are just going to walk all over us because they're a better.
Do you know what though, Jeff?
And even Southampton, I'm not confident. And like, I don't know where we go now, because I don't want to say Lampard out, but I don't know what he's doing, because he's been in nearly a year now. And are we any better at all than we were when he arrived? No, we're not. Are we playing better football? Are we more competitive? Are we sneaking wins? No. His record is appalling.
One thing I will say, Jeff, listen to this. They brought on. Listen to this though, Jeff. They brought on a £40 million pound player, another £40 million pound player, Nunes as well, that they've just signed. That's 80 million's worth of players. And they brought Traore on as well. We haven't got no right to say we should walk over Wolves. They've spent more than us. They brought on better players than us.
No, I know.
I was worried to see what they had on the bench.
Certainly not saying that we should. I'm not saying that we should walk over any team, but I've just watched us play, and we dominated possession, dominated the ball,
without doing anything with
a bit of nice football, but we didn't do anything. We lacked the ambition, and that's the problem. Is I don't mind, right? If I go to fight you, right, and I stand there with my hands down, and you knock me out, then that's on me. If I go and fight you, and I get beat by you, and you knock me out, but I'm swinging, then at least I feel like, well, I've tried. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
today,
look
like it tries. We
those goals.
It's like
those
nothing.
goals that they
I don't know
scored,
what to say.
we let them score. Those goals that they scored, we let them score. I thought the basics is what lost us the game. I do think, and I don't know how, we should have won today. I thought we was better than them. I generally thought that we was better than them with the chances that we had. And I don't know how, because I was watching us and thinking, well, yeah, we could still win this. Like, even when they brought on the 3 players that I said, I thought, you know what? We still had control of the game.
We should have won this.
We should have won the game. And if we did, it was a miracle. But the thing that scares me the most, Jeff, is what I'm saying to you is they had Jamirez on the bench. They brought on a £40 million player. They brought on another £40 million player. They've just gone and signed a striker for £50 million that we want, that we can't afford. They're going to be in competition with us to stay up. They're going to be a lot better than what they was today. We should have flukily have won today because we had the better chances and we played better. But they're going forward, Jeff. They're going to be stronger than what we are.
Can you see us staying up?
Yeah, I can. To be fair, Jeff, there was good signs today, but we need to buy a striker. There was good signs today because I thought Onana looked good in the number 6 position. He kept the ball moving, and I thought Gay looked better. I thought Gay looked better higher.
If we had a striker lined up that was on the 1st of January, if it was all signed and sealed and we knew about it, and it was like, oh, he's going to be here on the 1st of January, and we've got a couple of players lined up and they're going to be in straight away, bosh. Yeah, okay, maybe. But you know what's going to happen is we're going to fanny about, we're going to loan a few players out, blah, blah, blah. Tom Cannon will probably go out on loan because, you know, that's just the sense of Everton. And then we'll probably get someone in on loan in like the 28th of January. It's too late. Like, we're throwing away points. And it's the points that we're losing is against the teams that we need to be winning. Because if we'd have won today, that puts a gap between us and Wolves, like Watford, Forest, and teams like that. But now I presume we're in the bottom 3, if not the bottom 2, and we've got Man City and Brighton next. We're going to get beat by both of those. So we're going to be bottom of the league by New Year's Day. We're going to be bottom of the league by New Year's Day. And then hope that we can get somebody in who's going to rescue us. And we've got a manager who doesn't have the balls to at least try something new. And that's what really frustrates me. And that's what's really annoying me about Lampard now is I don't care that Tom Cannon is 19. He is an actual centre forward. He's the only one we've got who can actually get up there and has a record of hitting the onion bag. He's the only one we've got, even if he is 19. Try him.
It's very. I know we're all crying for Tom Cannon to come on, which I think Tom Cannon should have come on. But it's very scary that we need Tom Cannon to come on to win us a game, a kid in the academy. But we need they've got Jamirez to come on. They've got all these players to come on. Wolves have. They've got all these players on the bench to come on, proven players in the Premier League. And we're expecting a kid to come on and win us the game. So I do get that Lampard should have brought Cannon on earlier, but I've got to say Lampard's tools are not very good on that bench at all.
We're playing with Diego Costa up front, who's absolutely finished. He's been playing in like Brazil or something for like, he's finished. And he was playing up front against us today, and we played with fear. And, you know, I don't agree, unfortunately, with respect. I don't agree with either of you. I think
we're not supposed to agree.
I think Onana, I mean, it's obviously different when you're at the match, but I thought Onana didn't feel the crowd. You know, they were getting on his back because he was too slow and laboured on the ball. Always wanted to try and turn or play into trouble. It just didn't really work for him. And he needed to move it quick. Sometimes he was good, but other times he was doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. And that was something you could say for a lot of them. I think that first 45 minutes, I was very frustrated because Nathan Patterson, Iwobi, Gordon, they were completely anonymous. The plan was just to try and get McNeil in behind and then cross it in. And, you know, it wasn't working. And then the second half...
Yeah, but it sounds crazy though, Ryan, because when you watch the game on TV, the commentators are saying Gordon's having a cracking game. He's pressed him, turned the ball over, and he's always looking to drive forward and do the right thing. And the amount of times that Gana Gay put the ball to Gordon on the right, and it looked like there was a goal coming from Gordon down the right because Gordon kept putting dangerous balls in. And that looked on main threat, Gordon pressing and doing with Patterson down that right. It didn't look as bad. It looked like you didn't see that for me because...
The way I personally felt watching that was that we could play all night and we wouldn't score. And I
don't know how though when we had that many shots 1-on-1.
I don't think we had that.
It was so bad not to score.
I can only recall
when you watch that Gordon chance when you get back. How you say we didn't look like scoring?
The Gordon chance, okay, one chance. We're at home against the bottom of the league team, and we created about 3 chances the whole match. Wolves were passing around us with ease, fluidity. We pressed sporadically and on a few occasions throughout the match. We didn't show that consistency in the press. We didn't show any consistency. There was no creativity whatsoever. I can't honestly say there was creativity there. Maybe it looked different on the television, but you know we're playing bottom of the league.
For me, we just had a lot more of the ball than what I thought against Wolves.
My expectation is relegation. I don't think it will or won't happen. It's an expectation now. And I've got no trust whatsoever in this board and this recruitment staff to go and sign a striker and a number 10 who can link play and actually cause a fear. And like what Everton fans do is they cling on to a young player who's unproven because there's no one else. And that's what we're doing with Cannon. We're clinging on to the hope that he'll be good when there's no substance behind it or evidence that he will be.
Well, no, I'm not saying that we should be clinging on to that hope. What I'm saying is there's a difference between what I would like to be reality and what actually is reality. And the reality is that we've got basically, we've just let another striker go he was pretty much fucking useless anyway. But we've got one on loan who just scored today for... Sunderland.
Yeah. Saw it.
We've only got one striker. So it's like, well, do I want him to be starting games at 19 years old? No, I don't. We should have better. That's the fault of the fucking football club. But if that's all we've got, then we have to at least give him the game because he is better than what we've actually got. Even if that's a low bar, it's still a fact. Like, that Mope is fucking shite. He literally had a ball on and kicked it to the goalie.
We leave Mope.
Like I say, it's one of those. So we have to play a different system, 4-4-2.
Yeah, but the thing is, Ryan, you just said we don't play to Mope's strengths. Fair enough. He's just proved today that he's not fast because he didn't get through past that player when he had loads of advantage in the run. So he's proved he's not fast. He's not big. He's not a person that whacks goals in left, right, and centre. So if Mope's not fast and he's not big and he can't hold the ball up, what is he? Like generally,
he's rough.
What exactly? So what? We're playing a striker that isn't good enough. If we had Calvert-Lewin fit today, we would have won that game. The amount of balls we put into the box and how much control we had of possession, we would have won that game if we had a striker. I watched Brentford before the Everton game, and Tony made the difference. A good striker makes a difference. Mope
we're the only team in the league without a striker. We're the only team in the league without a striker. Why have we spent 17 million on a Brighton reserve striker who thought he was better than he was, who isn't good enough at this level? I have no faith in the board or anyone involved in Everton Football Club to do anything in the January market. We don't look further than the end of our own nostril when it comes to recruitment. And we are desperately crying out today for a player in the midfield who can link play and switch the ball. The amount of times today the switch was on to the opposite flank. I don't know whether you can see that because of the TV camera, but the switch was on
the whole screen
so many times. And we just got no one who can actually make that pass. No one who is intelligent to see the pass.
I think you need to call out the defence as well, Ryan, because fact is that goal, the goals were shit. And I know you're talking about the attack, but
it's because of
the goals that they scored.
Everyone is panicking for that second goal. The whole crowd is wound up and on edge because of the passing to side sequence that lasted, and then the hoof.
Well, you should just do one long ball anyway. I don't know why they're passing it amongst the defence when you've got Traore and all that lot on you. You shouldn't be passing it around in defence when you've got opposition against you like that. You should just do one long ball. You've got 2 minutes left. Loft the ball up, get in the box and try and get a goal at home. Shouldn't be passing it around in defence. You're asking for trouble. I knew, honestly, with Traore's speed, that we was going to lose the ball and we was going to concede at the end. And it was just written. I could see it happening because for some reason, and this is a thing that frustrates me about Lampard, and I think it cost us a little bit. Why did Lampard bring Decore on? Because Decore come on and I watched him and he come and he was standing on Onana's toes and he didn't know what to do. And someone shouted to Decore, push up. And he pushed up and he was absolutely nowhere. And it was like you brought him on and you completely lost the player because Decore was awful for me.
He's a bag of shite, Decore.
But why bring him on?
He takes 20 touches for a simple thing and he turns like a boat. But I'm reading the comments. I just want to shout out to everyone who's watching it in the comments. There's like 120 people watching, plus a load of people on Twitter as well who we can't see. If you are watching them, happy Boxing Day.
On this comment here, I was just going to say, I'm not too positive on DCL. I just want a striker on the pitch. I don't care if it's DCL or anyone. I just want a striker on the pitch that's big.
There's no point having a striker just stood there in the centre on his own. You've got to have people running around him, running off him, movement. It's some intelligence. We play this very rigid Sabutio formation where the wingers are wide, the striker is centre on his own with giant centre-backs around him. And then we've got Onana, Gay and Iwobi and everyone passes the buck to each other. No one actually takes any responsibility in that midfield.
Yeah.
My patience...
We've got a bunch of players who don't have sacks. They're literally ballless players. That none of them are brave. No. Occasionally,
I think the manager's a shit house as well.
Gordon is sometimes.
I thought Gordon. I honestly thought Gordon.
He's just not actually. He's not actually that really great. So he makes a lot of mistakes. But I'm not going to put anything on the player, particularly himself, because at least he does actually put some effort in, and that's fair enough.
Yeah. You're right about Gordon.
Sorry, but like I have to put blame on the manager because we've had 5 weeks. We've had 5 weeks of nothing to do, to practice. Yeah, like Sean Dyche would do for me, and I don't care what anyone else says. I would love Dyche because at least like he would play a style of football that will keep you. I mean, it's like the Sam Allardyce show. At this moment in time, I would take Sam Allardyce because we're going to get relegated with this manager and this team playing this style of football. We are getting relegated. That's just a fact because we don't play with any ambition. We don't get in crosses on a regular enough basis to cause any problems. We're slow. We're tactically poor. And we invite chances. We've started inviting more and more chances now. So the defence has turned ropey as well. And like, I don't see a way out of it. Like, I think we're getting relegated this year. Based on what I've just seen today and what I've seen so far this season, we are one of the 3 teams that are getting relegated this year. I genuinely think that. And I don't see Frank Lampard as the manager to change it. Not because I know he hasn't had the players, blah, blah, whatever. I don't care. He could come up with a system. He could come up with some way of playing that gets the best out of what we've got, even if that isn't good enough. And he
Well,
was
what
the
is-
one who literally okayed the transfers in the summer and ended up with no striker. We had opportunities to get strikers, other strikers, for similar-ish money, not a lot of money, but just anybody, just a couple of big lumps to get up there and just, nick a couple of goals each, and we had the opportunity to do that, and we ended up with Mope, who's 5'8", and we're playing with one up front against two big centre halves. It's ridiculous. It's just clueless. And like I just can't see a way out of this now. I just can't. I'm sorry, but I can't.
So, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Jeff, about the relegation thing, because I do think we are one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league.
Yep.
And we will slip into the relegation zone or be rock bottom.
We already are, I think.
Yeah, well, a spade is a spade, and I think the only blessing is that the transfer window is open. Whether I've got any confidence in anyone actually doing anything is another thing. You can see by the state of my face and how bright red and pink I am, how wound up I am actually by that, because it wasn't a simple case of we were unlucky. In my opinion, it was poor first half tactically. As I said, the switcher play was on, but we've got no one who can make the switch. We no one who was told to do the switch, perhaps. Very slow for the fullbacks to release the ball and get out. Mikolenko playing conservative. Don't think Patterson crossed the halfway line for the first 45 minutes.
Do you know what? When second half, Ryan, the comment. Let me just put this to you though, because this is what I'm asking you about when you was at the game. So I was watching it on TV. The second half, the commentators were saying Everton have come out on top. They're really pushing. They're really pressing. We was having loads of corners. Did that not happen for you?
I thought that Wolves were poor. I thought Wolves were a bad team that were there for the taking.
Wolves ain't poor though. Like they are. They
were shit. The defense was really vulnerable for Wolves, but we had nothing. We had every time we ran at them, they were struggling. But most of the time, we'd overplay it and be forced into chipping it.
And they gave the ball away they gave the ball away to us so many times, trying to play out the back. And this is the thing is they were trying to play out from the back, making mistakes, handing the ball to us, and we still did fucking nothing with it. Like we were literally winning the ball up high up because of their mistakes, literally getting handed the ball, freedom of the park, and shit the bed, like did nothing with it. And that's it's unforgivable because it's the basics of football. If you can't literally get a ball, run towards goal and take a shot, like what's the fucking point of you? What is the point of you? Why are you being called a striker? Because you're not a striker. If you can't score goals, you can't actually run, and you got to touch like a baby elephant. Then what's the point of you? Sorry, I'm trying to see positives, but
yeah. Well, don't.
I
Jeff,
can't
there's nothing
see
positive.
it.
There's nothing positive, and you know what? I don't think our viewers right now, over 120 people watching, appreciate blind positivity, because we've been, we escaped relegation by the skin of our teeth last season. At the Burnley defeat away from home, I thought we were down. I don't know how we managed to stay up, to be honest, because it wasn't anything to do with the players. It was more to do with the fans. It's the same shit over and over and over again. And as I said to you today, if you're talking about the match pragmatically, one positive, Yerry Mina scored from a set piece, but then defensively from the set piece, we switched off in the second phase of play. Does Diego Costa interfere with the keeper's view? I'm not so sure. Second thing, as I said to you before, Iwobi, Patterson, anonymous. We were trying to play into McNeil, who's only got a left foot. But I didn't really see where the creativity was coming from. I felt it was more of waiting for Wolves to make a mistake or waiting for that opportunity to press and then capitalise on a Wolves mistake. And even the second half, I just felt we were sleepwalking. We were going through the motions. And what Wolves did was they had like a block, a very good block, of players behind the ball, and they allowed us to have the ball in the wide areas. But whenever we tried to penetrate through the middle, there was lots of amber shirts stopping us from getting into dangerous areas to cause a threat and really just snuffing us out. That's how I felt. And then obviously we're getting more desperate and desperate and desperate. Mina's gone off, which, was the most predictable thing since, I don't know, Jesus, celebrating the birth of Jesus on Christmas Day. But it's a terrible analogy. But he's gone
Yeah.
off, Yerry Mina, and Godfrey's come on, and he's like a rabbit out the headlights. He's running into midfield, trying to win the ball back when he shouldn't be. And honest to God, it's pathetic. And you can see how wound up I am. I'm bright red, I'm pink, I'm furious. I couldn't give a shit whether Lampard was sacked tomorrow. I see a very inexperienced coach who's very slow with the substitutions. I don't see a style of play. I don't see us controlling games in the way I want us to. And you can argue he hasn't had a transfer window, but we're sleepwalking into relegation unless we have a drastic change now. A drastic change. I feel fucking depressed. I wish we hadn't come back. I wish we should have just called it quits and said, look, we're shit. We don't win anything. We're crap. We're not gonna rejoin the Premier League, and just let us all move on and be happy.
I think what pissed me off the most is it didn't look like a team that's in trouble. They played too relaxed for me, and they didn't look like I was looking forward to this fresh start, and I wanted to come out fighting. And I thought, right, this Everton team, Lampard's going to have this break and he's going to have a word with them. And the basics we're going to get right. The basics. Fair enough if you haven't got as much ability, but the basics will get right. And the amount of times this game, I didn't see our players goal side. Patterson today had a really bad game, and I was shocked how bad he was. The amount of times our defenders was lazy in the box with the crosses. The goal they scored was ridiculous. Crap closing down by Mopé.
Dan, they're all lazy.
Yeah, all lazy.
All
That's what
lazy.
I'm saying. That's
even
the
Onana,
basic.
Though. Onana jogs around lazy fucking midfielder.
That's the basic stuff. Lazy. That's what I'm saying to you right now. It's all right talking about, oh, we should have done this attacking, we should have done that attacking, we should have done that attacking. For me, I always expect every game you do the basic shit. You put your tackles in, you get goal side, and on set pieces you be good, which we have the other day. If we did that, we would have been hot. I don't think we would have got beat today.
Did they want it enough?
If we did that? They didn't want it enough. That's
I didn't
the
feel
problem.
We wanted it enough. We didn't want it enough.
No, when we went 1-0, Ryan, we should have been solid. Like, you see teams in the World Cup, they defend it, they freaking grit in. When you go 1-0 and you've got something... And by the way, when we went 1-0, Ryan, you was there, the crowd was off the seats and the crowd sided.
Yeah, we had we had 10 good minutes. 10 good minutes where we pressed. 10 good minutes where we looked like scoring and like Wolves were on the ropes because we pressed as a group, as a team in numbers. And the minute it changed and we pressed as singular individuals where Mopé is being asked to chase the striker and then chase the fullback and then chase the centre-back in the same sequence, it doesn't work. And we lost control.
They're too cocky. They don't think they're in a relegation fight. They're not playing like every game's important. They're shaking Wolves players' hands and they're just having laughs with them like it's not a massive game. They need to, for me, I really expected them to fight more than what they did, Jeff. And that's what disappointed me. Not the attacking chances, because I did feel we had a few, but the fact that they just didn't fight. And we knew how important this game was. And Everton didn't play like
when the crowd were booing.
that important.
That's the comment. When the crowd were booing and they kept passing at the back, you could tell they wanted the draw and they didn't want to commit.
Stupid. But why the passing? I knew they were conceding.
I can't say what's going on in their head, but that comment, it just says to me, it's like we're at home in an important game on Boxing Day, full house, big crowd. Did we have the desperation required to win? Or were we desperate? Were we absolutely throwing everything at them? And
the ball should have gone to Pickford in a long kick.
Literally passing it sideways. Yeah, just lumping up the ball.
Yeah.
And that's
I don't know why they didn't just pass it to Pickford and let him play the long kick.
We aren't good enough at football to play football. To play like, obviously this is what, you know, this is what Lampard wants to do. He wants to play out from the back and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, but he's deluded. He's absolutely deluded. We are shit. We are utterly
what
shit.
What was the playing?
We cannot play football. We cannot play football. Let me just finish this. We cannot play football, right? And if you're a manager and you cannot see that the players you've got at your disposal aren't good enough and change and go route one, long ball, just get the ball into the box, put two up front, do whatever you have to do. Yeah. Try something different. You've got to try something different. And if you can't do that, you aren't in the right job. It's time to go. Bye. See you later. I'm sorry. But for me, it's time for him to go.
I don't think Lampard was good enough, Jeff. I don't think
No,
Lampard was good enough. I don't think a manager change. I don't think a manager change is going to make a difference.
I do. I think
I
it'll make
don't.
100%
Looking at
I
some of
do.
those, looking at some of those players today, like look at Wolves' team and look at our team. Why are we miles better? Why should we be winning that? Lampard is playing with a bad hand. Like, he hasn't got a frigging striker. He hasn't got a striker. Mupé and Cannon. In the Premier League, you look at every team.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know, and this isn't what you're saying. It's just what I'm saying. Basically,
I'm not talking about the strikers. I'm talking about the midfielders and the defenders. We're trying to play football. We're trying to play pass, tip tap through the midfield and all that kind of stuff. We're not good enough to do that, and the manager should be able to see that. The football is garbage. So it doesn't matter if we've got a striker up front. Yeah. Like, we literally couldn't get the ball out of our half for the first 20 minutes of the game.
I think we did get the ball up a lot, though. I think we did get the ball up a lot. I think we could be putting more of a...
Not in that first 20 minutes. In the first 20 minutes, they were literally we were trying to get it out, and we were passing it to their players, and it was coming straight back at us for the first... and then we got a goal from a set piece, which was fortunate, but realistically, that was it. That was all we did in the first half, because then we literally started giving the ball away, giving the ball back to them again. So we clearly aren't good enough at football. So if you're not good enough at football, then you have to try a different way. Like who's that shitty team from the Midlands who used to play?
Derby.
Sorry?
Derby.
No.
Yeah, but it wasn't
the betting company. Oh. They're playing Stoke, right? Stoke stayed in the league for years because they knew they weren't good at footy. So they worked out a way to win games, right? They came up with a way. They defended like their lives depended on it. They had some guy who could do really good throw-ins, and they played long ball, and they got a big guy up front, and they lugged it in, and they nicked some goals, and that's how they played, because they had no delusions of grandeur about who they were as a football team. They didn't think themselves better than they were. They knew where they were, who they were, and what position they were in, and they played the football according to where they were in the league. Our football players play like they think they're in the top six. They think they've got time on the ball. They think that the other team are going to sit back and they can just pass it around and play nice football. And eventually the teams are just going to part the Red Seas and let them score. And it isn't going to work like that, because we're not good enough to do that. And every single team we play against takes about 10 minutes to work out that we're actually shit, and then starts going at us. And I saw it against how many teams under Benitez? It was exactly the same against Norwich. That game, we started off playing nice for 20 minutes, and then we got absolutely binned. We did it against Southampton. We've done it against so many teams where we come out and we try and play nice football, but we're not good enough at it. We've got no cutting edge, and eventually the teams just go, "Oh, these aren't a threat. We're going to get the ball, and we're just going to fucking go at them." And we're done, and it's over, and we lose. Well, it's inevitable because we're just not good enough. And he's trying to play football like he's the Chelsea manager, and he's not the Chelsea manager.
I don't think he is, Jeff. I don't know what he's doing. I don't think we're trying to play football tiki-taka. I just think what you're trying to say is we're neither
playing out from the back.
Well, we're trying to do something, but we're not. We're neither here nor there. I don't see us as a team that's playing tiki-taka. Actually creating stuff through midfield, playing through the lines, getting on the ball, turning. Creating overloads. I don't see us as a
to the fullbacks, and he's giving the ball out to the centre halves, and they're trying to play through the lines. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but into no
we
one,
aren't good enough to do that. So let's just move the ball up. Let's take long kicks. Do something different.
We've all established now. I think it goes without saying that you've got a right to be. We haven't got the personnel to play creative tiki-taka football. We're trying to play from the back because we've got small strikers. We try and get the full-backs involved, but often they're completely anonymous and have very little impact on the game. And we play with the wingers who aren't consistent, who spend most of the time coming towards the ball rather than running in behind. And I said at half-time, we need to turn Wolves back. We need to have them facing their own goal. We need to get them under pressure, get numbers forward, get balls in behind them. And yet still, we did the same thing that we were doing throughout the whole match, which was play in front of Wolves, play the simple, play the sideways pass, afraid to do things. That's how I sum Lampard up really as well. Afraid to do things, plays with fear, and ultimately we still don't do anything. I'd rather we played without fear and didn't do anything than play with fear and still don't do anything. I don't know what the answers are other than recruitment.
My answer's a striker. A striker makes a difference.
Say we don't get a striker down, we're absolutely fucked.
Well,
we need a striker.
The thing is, you're saying like our midfielders, say Gordon, McNeil, or whoever plays in the centre midfield, they feed off your striker. Everything comes from your striker. You say you've got to make chances. You make chances if your striker's good. We have no striker. We generally do not have a striker. I've watched Brentford play without Tony, and they were shit. And then I watched Tony come back one game, and the difference he made against Man City just by having a striker. When we used to have Lukaku, we sometimes used to be shit by just having Lukaku. He used to get us up there. You play off your striker. You need a big centre forward that's going to help you. In the Premier League, Ryan, listen to this. If you're going to stay in the Premier League and you're going to win games to stay in the Premier League, who on that pitch today is our striker that's going to make us do that? Who has Lampard got that's going to make us do that? That all other teams, by the way, have got. Even Brentford's got Tony. Newcastle's got strikers all over. Even the crap that Leeds have got strikers. Every team in the Premier League has got one or two strikers. Even Southampton. Who have we got as a striker?
This defeat, two things. This defeat wasn't about strikers. We conceded two pathetic goals because we had no footballing intelligence in the key moments. We switched off in the second phase of play from the set piece, and from the goal late, we chased shadows. We knew we didn't have anything left in the locker to create. We overcommitted. We didn't read the situation, and we got exposed. That isn't down to the strikers, but I detest the fact that we ended up in that situation in the first place. Because yes, probably if we had someone with an ounce of threat who could cause any sort of fear in the opposition,
gets you going.
We might have
it gets
had
you going.
Game.
Yeah.
So we might have won the game before those situations occurred. But Daniel, seriously, if you have a car and you've got no engine, it doesn't drive. If you have a car and the gear stick doesn't change gear, it probably doesn't drive. If you've got three wheels, not four, it probably doesn't get you anywhere.
But we're not even.
Thing with Everton. I think the players go, it's the same situation here. We are with the television without the LED backlight working. Give me a good analogy.
I just feel you need a
what I'm
striker
trying
to
to
get
say?
the parts
We're
together. I do know what you mean, but we're missing a striker.
Everton Football Club is a fuck without an orgasm at the end of it. That's what we are.
We're trying to
We
stay
are utterly
fucking
fucking pointless. We are a shag with no orgasm at the end. We are literally shite. We are unsatisfying. That's exactly what we are. And teams play against us and they know that we're not finishers. Like, we're not going to cause them problems. We've got no creativity. We've got no drive in midfield. We've got no threat up front. And we're weak in defence.
But Wolves are hopeless as well. Wolves,
I know,
Wolves
but they're still better than us.
The Wolves with the players that they've got, they're in a lot better situation than us.
They're playing. Wolves are playing. They were fouling us. They were breaking up the play.
Why was the fouling us, Ryan? Why was the fouling us? It was fouling us because we was attacking, which you said we didn't do. We had 2 free kicks that was literally right on goal that freaking Gordon took that was shit and that Gray took that was shit. But to get 2 free kicks that we was pushing and we did get in some positions. There was bits and bobs. I honestly think I really liked, and I know everyone's pissed off and I'm pissed off more than anyone, but I really like watching Ghana Gay pushed up and Onana playing in that number 6 because they didn't threaten us that much. They didn't.
No.
They didn't threaten us that much. And I know you'll just go past that. because we lost. But fact is, they didn't threaten us that much because Onana played well in that number 6 and stopped everything. They scored from a set piece. But other than that, we looked fine. So Onana was good in the number 6. Agana Gay pushed up and he did some good 1-2s and fed it to Gordon out wide. Gordon put some crosses in. There was bits and bobs for me that was better. But like I say, this is what you need. If you're going to stay in the Premier League, which everyone is really good, by the way, you need to go out now and not buy that shit Malaga Man United striker. You need to go out and
My
buy
analogies have kicked off, haven't they?
You need a really good striker and you need a good winger. Kudus would be absolutely amazing.
He's coming here.
Yeah, no, but this is what I'm saying though, Jeff. We need a good player to keep us up. We can't keep bringing in players like Rondon, Mope, rejects from other teams that are shit, that are not good. And then you play Mope up front, and you think he's going to be the answer. He's not the answer.
So that's
we've got to spend.
Let's go beyond because we can sit there and stare this pile of shit forever, right? But it's still going to be a pile of shit. So let's get to like what happens now, because do we carry on with Lampard as we are? Because like that concerns me greatly. That concerns me greatly. But hang on a minute. Let me just make this point. So, are we going to carry on with him into a transfer window and let him get whatever money we've got available to spend and spend it? Are we going to change to a different manager and try a different approach? Could we kill the entire board and like dump them all in the river? And hopefully someone else could buy the club next week, and that would be brilliant. Like, where do we go from here?
Well, let me just tell you one thing I will say on what you've just said, though, Jeff. One thing I will say is it can get worse than what we played today. We can be a lot worse than what we played today.
It will get worse.
We could change manager, and it could get worse. Honestly, I know you're saying it was awful, but there was little patches today that was good enough to beat Wolves. We was the better team today, and if
so
you watch
still Frank Lampard in.
I don't think I want. The thing is with Lampard, Jeff, is he is a manager learning, but he's got to learn. No, he's got to
learn. Go and learn somewhere else. Go and learn in the Championship. Go and learn in League One. We've got a bunch of inept players recruited by idiots who don't have a clue what they're doing. And
that manager that's come into Wolves,
manager who's done absolutely nothing in his entire career. He did
but that manager
at Chelsea, nothing at Derby, and he spent an absolute fortune.
It's the hardest.
In charge of Everton, and he doesn't have a clue what he's doing.
It's the hardest job, though. You tell me now, what job out of every team in the Premier League, what job is harder than the Everton job now? I don't think no manager's up to doing it. And I'm telling you, we're not going to get a good manager. We're not going to get a good manager. And if you get a really shit manager, it'll fuck you up for the rest of your future.
I wouldn't necessarily sack him. I think the way I would see it is, Jeff,
he's not got good tools.
It's like you saying to me, would I hire him now based on that performance if that was a trial? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wouldn't hire him based on what I've seen. Would I sack him, though, is a completely different question, because it's an absolute ordeal. We would have had 6 weeks to have got a replacement in already during the World Cup. 6 weeks we could have been sounding out some of the coaches. Unai Emery was available at Sevilla. A top-class manager who won the Europa League 4 times was available. He's gone to Aston Villa. I think we've got the worst coach in the league and arguably the worst squad in the league.
The one thing I will say is that there's a list of managers in the Premier League who were in a job when Lampard arrived. All of them have been sacked, and they all had a better record than Lampard. Like if you look at the managers who were in a job and are now out of a job, who had a better record than Frank Lampard's record. So, like I said, like at the start, my problem is are we better in any respect at all than we were when Lampard arrived? Are we better in any respect? Do we defend better? No. Is the midfield better? No. Do we play better football? No. Are we a threat? No. Are our substitutions good, well-timed, tactically astute? No. So it's like, what has he actually done? It's worse than Benitez, exactly, Paul. Frank Lampard's record is worse than Stevie fucking G's record, and he got sacked. You know, there's managers who are out of a job now. They've got a better record than he's got. So on what basis does he deserve to keep his job? What has he done to make you think that he deserves to stay? And I literally can't make an argument for why he needs to stay. But I can give you a dozen reasons why he needs to go. He's not motivating the team, because if you look at that half-assed display today, that didn't look like a team.
That's one thing. That's one thing I'll agree with you, Jeff, on that point. He's not.
Didn't
that's
look like
a big
50-50.
Yeah, that's for me.
Like
That's
a team was fighting. So
this is what puts me on the fence, Jeff. I think he should be getting a lot more out of the players and motivating them, giving them a kick up the backside.
Yeah.
But then I also do think the other end of the freaking spectrum is that Lampard is dealing with a bad players, and he hasn't got some of the tools that he needs. Because when I looked at the team today, honestly, the team that, other than Cannon, the team Lampard put out is the team that I would have put out. I was happy that he put Onana back and he pushed Gay up, and I was happy that he put McNeil on, because I thought McNeil will have a go. Gordon, fair enough. The defence, he brought Mina in. Mina scored, didn't play that bad, did he? Patterson, wasn't his fault that he played bad. Mikolenko, what can Lampard do different? Like, we expect a manager to come in and just change things, miracles. I don't think they're going to do much more than what we're doing, because you're not going to get a manager that comes in and everyone starts playing amazing. Because fact is, Onana needs time to get better. He's young. Gordon needs time to get better. He's young. A lot of these players are not just going to be frigging the Bonds straight away, are they? They're going to need time, ain't they, Jeff? That's the thing. Some of these players have got a lot to learn. That's a scary thing.
There are some things you could do that a new manager could do, or that he could do. And one of them, in my opinion, would have been straight away recognising the fact that there's always a player free on the opposite flank, unmarked, with 20 yards of space. And if we could play the ball across earlier and switch play, we would have had Wolves turning on the back foot. That's one thing we could have done. Other things, instead of always trying to force it with the long balls, a little bit more patience. Could we have made a change in midfield? Why didn't Damari Gray start? I didn't think McNeil offered anything, and the plan was to get him in behind the Wolves right back. But
Ryan, it's just past the parcel. You play freaking Gray, and you say he's not good enough. You play McNeil, you say he's not good enough. So we don't know who to play on that side. There's no answer. He's got to keep switching it, but he hasn't got the options. He hasn't got the wingers. He hasn't got the freaking striker. It's a hard job at the minute. Like, generally, and the centre midfield, you've got, look, Doucouré comes on, and you've got Davis to come on, and they go and bring on £40 million centre midfielders. It's an hard job. We're in a bad situation.
We're whinging. And the reality is, we're saying, oh, look at him. He's got this and he's got that. And every bloody team in the league's got expensive players. We signed all our expensive players. We stripped them out the club because they turned out to be utter garbage, overpaid, underperforming players. And now we've been left with the dregs of Wolverhampton, the dregs of Burnley, the dregs of anyone who needs to get rid of anyone and wants to have a Premier League career. Well, I'm telling you now, that Premier League career is going to be the shortest career they've ever had, because we will go down if we don't have players lined up for the 1st of January. And we get 6 points against Southampton and Brighton.
It baffles me how a club can put together a situation where they're building a new stadium, right? And it's flying up. It's going up brilliantly. It's been well planned. It's been well organised. It looks fantastic. So we've managed to organise building a new stadium. But we can't organise actually running a football club. Like, how does that work? We've got the best run sort of like project to build a new stadium, and the worst actual run football club. We've got the worst run football club. So it's like,
the thing is, though, for me at the minute, you've just got to keep this team in the Premier League, which is going to be fucking hard. But you've got to keep this team in the Premier League and get your base. And when you get in that new stadium, the funds will change. Maybe you're going to have a window where you can
Okay,
spend
well,
100 million.
So let's put our hands together and let's.
Yeah, no, but it's true though, isn't it, Jeff? Like,
Jesus' birthday yesterday, so let's praise Jesus and let's because seriously, prayer is the only thing I can think of. Is like
you
how
need
we
to
survive this year.
you need to spend in this league, don't you, Jeff? That's the thing. We're all saying
Have we got any
Lampard
money?
needs to send, like, he needs to do something this window. I don't think we've got the funds this window. And
Have we got any
Lampard's
money?
I don't think Lampard wanted to buy Mopé for 15 million. I think he wanted to go out and get a good fucking striker. But thanks to Kenwright and Mashiri, put us in an absolute shit situation. We're having to drag ourselves out of a hole. And by the way, dragging yourself out of the hole isn't going to be fucking easy. And that's what we're doing now. But at least there's light at the end of the tunnel when the stadium's built and we've got players. If we stay in, which won't be easy, by the way, because everyone's good this season. It's the best I've ever known in the Premier League. If we stay in the Premier League and the stadium's built, and then they say, right, this window, because the stadium's built and the funds are good, we can spend 100 million and things have turned around, new owners have come in, then we won't be talking like we're talking. We're back in business. This is the fucking shitty business that we're in now because of Kenwright and because of frigging Moshiri. You have to, if you do loads of bad stuff like they've done, you don't get away with it. You have to pay for it. And we're paying for it. And that's why other teams can spend right and we can't.
But Kenwright and Mashiri weren't the reason we lost the game. It was because they switched off in the second phase of play from a corner kick and from the last minute because the fans were on booing the players playing sideways patiently because there was no pass
Probably the reason that we haven't got. No, but probably the reason we haven't got these attacking players that you was talking about, Ryan.
But they're defensive mistakes. That's coaching. The first one is coaching. The second one, I think both of them are a lot on the manager. And the defense.
I honestly think we need a striker, a number 10, and a winger. We need a striker, a number 10, and a winger. I do feel like that's what we need badly.
We that wasn't down to the lack of a striker though, conceding those 2 goals.
No, but you might score more goals yourselves with how shit their defense was, Ryan. When you watch that game,
but we have to score 3 goals even if we do try to striker, we're not going to score 3 goals every match, and we shouldn't.
We're not normally
3 goals.
We're not normally that shit in defense. I was surprised. I was surprised how bad we was defending.
We've got one of the worst defensive records in the league. We concede more shots than any other team. We concede about 20 chances every match.
It did say we're not. We've got one of the. We're just behind. I think we're like 6th for best defensive record in the league. We haven't been that bad defensively. This is the first game where we've been shit. Bournemouth and Bournemouth.
We conceded a lot of chances. Dan, do you not remember the games before the World Cup? We conceded like 20.
No, I just said Bournemouth, and all the other ones. But there was other games where it was unbeaten in 7 because our defense was good.
No, we were conceding a lot of chances. We weren't conceding a lot of goals.
No, but our defense was good because we was unbeaten in 7. At one point, it was good. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not bigging Everton up. I'm just saying that our defense is better than it was like under other seasons. There's no Michael Keane there. There's no bloody. You can't like our defense is definitely better. For some reason, it was shit today, but we haven't got Michael Keane there.
We've been the scapegoats off, and we're still shite.
I think Cody would have helped today. I do think Cody would have helped.
Yeah,
I think defense is. Cody would. He's got the organisation, and he definitely. I feel would have helped. Our defense, I don't think is. I think that's our strong point. I think if we're going to say our defense is like our problem, then I disagree because Cody Tarkowski had to.
We conceded 7 goals in 2 games against Bournemouth before the break, and then we lost the game today.
Not even that. It's the shots conceded, Jeff. Every match, 20 chances, 20 shots for the opposition teams. We get out of it because
Tarkowski's got the highest number of blocks in the league.
We make blocks and we've got a good keeper. That's the bottom line. And if we didn't have a decent goalie, we'd be rock bottom.
Yeah,
I just feel we've got to do more attacking. I think if you do more attacking, you can put teams to bed. It knocks the confidence. I think when we went 1-0, if you've got good attackers and you go 2 or 3, it completely frigging puts the other team down and you put the game to bed. And we haven't got the attacking players to do that. Every time we go 1-0 this season, we shit ourselves because we think, fuck me, how have we gone 1-0? We sit back. And then the other team comes on to us and we go 1-1. That's what happens every time. Every time we get the lead, we don't put the game to bed and go 2-3. Where normally, if you score a goal and get the lead and make the other team a bit nervous, it's a good time to attack them again and get the second goal. We don't do that.
Sorry, I'm just checking to see if anyone's been sacked yet.
I think they gave him the backing, didn't they? I think after that,
Yeah.
if he was going to get sacked, he would have got sacked over the break. I think they've given him the backing. I really do. And this is why I say, I'm not saying Lampard's good enough. I'm just saying, like, I think he's what we've got. And he just needs to step his game up because, like I've read in the comments, people putting in the comments, he needed to, the wrong comment, but someone said he needed to make the changes earlier. He should have brought Cannon on with at least half an hour, at least, probably even half time. He should have brought Cannon on earlier. And why he didn't, I don't know. And why he brought Decore on, I don't know. That's the worrying thing. Some things are out of Lampard's hands, but the substitutions that he made was his moves, and his moves wasn't very good. And that's what a lot of people are frustrated about. Also, the fact that the players come out today and they look not arsed, and they really didn't look arsed. What's that, Jeff?
Can I ask a couple of questions to you two?
Trump is pleading insanity to escape prison. Is that true, Kev? Wow.
Can I ask you a couple of questions
Okay.
to you both?
Okay.
Okay. What Lampard's good quality, yes or no, is that he's likable. He's likable as a person in his interviews. Yes or no? Is that correct?
No, he just play that card massively because that's one of his. He's clever.
So, okay, yes. Is he likable, and does he come across likable?
He's not a good manager, and he needs to go.
No,
that's my opinion. I don't care that he's nice. He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
okay. But look, being a nice guy doesn't make you a good manager.
That's what I'm saying. So,
like,
what is football?
We need an arsehole of a manager who's going to like kick people's arses and tell people to do their fucking jobs and not be lazy slack wankers. Sorry, I've just that was a lot of swearing.
That's fine. So we've established he's a nice guy, right? He comes across nice. Whether he is nice or not is a different thing. You can come across like a nice guy and not be a nice guy. The most important thing is that results. The results are shit. Then the second thing is performances. The performances are shit. Okay? So the performances are shit and the results are shit. And he's been a manager for 12 months. So what does that say?
He's not good enough. He doesn't know what to do. He's lost the plot. The players aren't playing for him. Or at least not on a level where I feel convinced watching that right. This is the way of putting it. Do I see it getting better with him as the manager? I don't. I genuinely don't. I don't see him making us better. Like, short of us going out and spending 100 million.
The thing is, though, some of the
Lampard,
things.
No, I don't agree, Kieran. I don't.
Some of the things. Here's one for you, though. Like,
he could have done more because, like,
some of the things though today.
5'8" striker, Kieran. We played with a 5'8" striker until nearly the 80 odd minute or something.
Isolated him in the middle. Middle on his own as well.
We've got one striker who's available, who's actually over 6 foot tall, who we could get balls up to the box, and we brought him on with like 10 minutes to go. So yeah, we could have done more, Kieran. We could.
Kieran's saying, "What could he have done? DCL's out, and Cannon's 19." He's basically accepting this. I mean, I see what he's saying, but at the same time, Kieran, I don't know if you saw, we were talking about the goals we conceded. We could have done more with the goals we conceded.
But the thing is, on the subject of the goals that we conceded, like, so it's completely like, well, why is that Lampard's fault, or is that just the players?
Well, he's been coaching these players.
Yeah, but I think he's not coached them to do that, though, Jeff. What they did, they normally defend good. For some reason today, they haven't give a shit. Like, normally, on set pieces, Jeff, we have been good. I've been confident on set pieces with the way we normally are now. I think we can defend set pieces against anyone. But suddenly today, Patterson's been shit.
It's not
Tarkowski's been shit.
No. But this is the thing. This is where I totally don't agree. It isn't just like today. It isn't just today that we haven't been able to defend set pieces. We conceded 7 goals in 2 games against Bournemouth. We conceded 7 goals in 2
No, I
games
know
against
that. I
Bournemouth.
know that game was shit as well. So it's a downwards.
That's clearly like we couldn't defend then. Look at last season. How many goals did we concede? We survived by the skin of our teeth. Like we won just barely. Like after being 2-0 down at half time against Palace, or we were gone. So we didn't improve defensively like last season, and then we started okay this season. But, and this is the point I was going to get to, is were we defending well, or were we just like a bit lucky? Because like if you look at the Liverpool game, did they hit the post 3 or 4 times? If you look at like various other games, like how many chances are we conceding? Like the keeper's making amazing saves, like Tarkowski making last-ditch blocks, Cody clearing one off the line. Have we really been defending set pieces really well, or have we just got away with it on a number of occasions because we've made a last-ditch challenge, or the keeper's made an amazing save, or Tarkowski's made a last-ditch blocks, or the strikers are actually missed chances as well. I don't think we have actually been defending well. I think we've just got away with it up until now, but now we're not getting away with it anymore. I don't think we can defend.
We all went in after the first sort of 5 games, didn't we? And we thought we'll be all right when we sign a striker. Then we signed Mopay, and we haven't been all right, let's be honest. But we thought we'll be safe, we'll be boring, we'll be 15th, 16th, 14th, 15th, 16th. We'll be all right, and we'll just kind of cobble through games. We'll win a couple of 1-0s from set pieces. Today was actually the first goal we scored from a direct corner all season. So that hasn't even been a part of it. The set pieces haven't been there. I just chipped in there because you were talking about set pieces. You would want to see more emphasis on those set pieces, surely, from an offensive standpoint, because that seems like one of the only few routes where we might look strong. Although
that's our first goal from a set piece this season in 15 games. So, like, we're clearly not very good at set pieces either. So,
the thing is, though, sometimes when you get when we see a lot of the manager changes in the Premier League, the managers come into some very good players. The manager that comes into our team, I don't see how he's going to get more of a tune. I know he'll might make him a bit better, fair enough, because we were shit today and we have been shit against Bournemouth and stuff like that. But if we haven't got a team where a manager comes in and he's got a really good team and he can change it around and things are going to work. Like, basically, do you know where the manager went into Aston Villa, Jeff? And there is good players in that team and he's just got they all start playing and then they start getting better. It's not like that with Everton. He's not going to come in and change the striker because he hasn't got loads of strikers. We've got no strikers.
Dan, we've had that. We've had that exact same situation. We've had that exact same situation that Aston Villa have been in multiple times before, when we brought in Ronald Koeman, when we brought in Carlo Ancelotti, when the board are telling these managers, we've got really good players, we just can't get them to be effective together, and they've come in and flopped. So we've been in the Villa situation. Now we're just in a situation where we just get the dregs, and we are what we are. We are where we are. We are what we are.
Yeah, but the difference is, though, Ryan, a lot of squads have got... No, but the difference is a lot of squads have got good players. We're not packed with good players. We've got just about 11 players that can just cut it. You go in Villa, they've got like Ings, they've got the other striker. They've got players all over. So, like, teams are all packed with players. We ain't packed with players.
Wolves had a bench full of players, as you said.
And Forest have.
They're bottom of the league with a bench that was miles better than ours.
They'll be better, though. That's what I said to you is the worrying part. Wolves that we played today, we should have completely took advantage because they was poor and we could have beat them and got lucky because for some reason, which I don't know, they had all the good players on the bench. If they started with that team, they would have battered us and we probably wouldn't have got the chances that we had. We should have took advantage of Wolves and beat them because I'm telling you, when those new players that come in that Wolves have brought, they've also brought the striker that we want, 50 million. When all them come in, they're going to get results off other teams, and we're in a relegation battle with them, so that's made us a bit more fucked. You look at Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest have got loads of good players that haven't gelled together yet. I've just seen the defender Worrell. He's just come back as well now for Nottingham Forest. They're going to be a lot bloody stronger, and they've got loads of players Nottingham Forest have. There's Brighton. They look good. I can't pick. Bournemouth have battered us twice. The teams that I normally say would be better than Fulham have got Mitrovic, who's absolutely amazing, and they've added William, who's a good experienced player, and they look good as well. And you look good as well, Ryan, all dappy. I mean, but they look good as well. So I can't pick one bad team. I can't pick
bottom of the league, Dan.
There won't be though,
Wolves
Ryan. They've got good players now. They've signed
But
players.
there's only
mate.
so many teams that won't be bottom of the league. And I look through the league this season, and this isn't like other seasons where we've had two teams that have been utter diabolical coming up from the Championship who are adrift already with like 1 or 2 points or like 5 or 6 points. You know, this league this season is the most competitive it's ever been. There's no one who's particularly bad apart from, could it be us? Are we the particularly bad team?
Well, the only way.
Fulham, Dan, you've listed Fulham. Dan, you listed Fulham. Mitrovic,
Yeah.
He's a reason to keep him up. Bournemouth outplayed us twice. Okay. Southampton have just changed the manager. They're taking action. Brentford are miles ahead of us. Brighton are miles ahead of us. West Ham, Newcastle. The only teams he's thinking is Nottingham Forest, who spent an absolute fortune, but I think that's a case of their players gelling. They found a lot at the same time.
Southampton are a bit shit as well.
But we could come good if you make two signings, massive signings, 50, 60 million pound players. We need top players. We need a 20 goal a season striker, and we need a midfielder who's going to come in and score 8 goals and get 8 assists. That's what we need.
That's what I'm saying to you, though, Ryan. That's the thing that all these other teams can go and buy players. We can't. Like they can actually go out in the window and do something. We can't.
At this point now. Because this is something I want to actually check on, because if you actually look at how much we've spent over the last 2 years, we haven't spent much money at all, because we had to get ourselves. We spent a total net spend of 1.5 million in the last summer window under Benitez, and then obviously. We swapped Digne for two left backs for the same kind of money, and then in the summer we got 35 million in for Richarlison, and we spent a certain amount of money. But
you knew it'd be in commenting that, wouldn't you?
So basically, because the way we spent money, we did it on the drip. So we didn't spend a lot up front, and we got money in. So we should theoretically be in a position where we should be able to spend some money. And
we're not,
the thing
though,
is,
are we, Jeff? We're not.
I don't know. I don't know. That's
either.
what I'm saying is because we've reduced the wage bill massively. We've got a load of people off the wage bill. We've not spent any kind of money for the last 2 years, so we should be in a better position to actually spend money now. But we're also in a position where we've got no choice, because if we literally don't go out, like Ryan says, and spend at least 30 million on 2 players, at least 30 million on 2 different players, 35 million each. We're not staying up. I'm genuinely thinking this is the year we go down.
That's the scary part. Can we do that? Can we do that?
We've got no choice, because there's the other thing. With a new stadium
not even have the
being
choice.
built, with a new stadium being built, how much is the club worth if we get relegated? Because Moshiri has got to be looking at that and thinking to himself, well, us with a new stadium in the pipeline as a Premier League club going into the next 2 years, we're worth an X amount of money that he could get for it. But as a Championship club, with a massive stadium that we're trying to finance and reduced levels of income and a crap team, like how much money is he going to lose? Can he afford to not invest in the team? And so then it becomes a case of who do you trust to spend the money that's going to make the right decisions? Is Lampard the person who's going to bring in the right players?
I don't know.
And
that's
that's
the
my
thing
concern.
now.
Is I don't know either, and I'm like, yeah, everything.
Nobody knows though, do they? Like nobody generally knows.
That's basically sums up like the last hour of our video. That's basically, that's pretty much it. Oh, is someone joining us?
No,
it's just switched it. He switched it to Ryan's just switched it to his Posh.
Yeah, that's an official. Like that's the official.
I just feel like that's the scary thing though. That's what I want to say though, Jeff. I feel like that's the scary thing is that right now when you're looking at the answers, what we need to do to stay up, a lot of teams will do something in the window to stay up. They've got that option that they can go in that window and do something to stay up. I don't know what we can do in this window to stay up. And if they can go and buy everything they need to stay up and we can't, that's a fucking big advantage to them. And we're in big trouble if we can't. We need to know. Like, it'd be nice if they come out and told us what our situation is. It's got to be close, like you've said, Jeff. I think we are starting to, the money's turning around now, and I think soon we will be able to spend. But I don't know what the situation is. I really don't.
We've got no choice because if we do.
What about if we can't though? Like, what about if the financial situation still says now that we're not allowed to?
If we can't, then effectively we might as well just shut up shop and accept the fact that we're going down because this team isn't good enough to stay up.
Do you not think? Yeah, but we're not stupid, right? With the way we've been playing around with this transfer window, spacing deals out with McNeil, spacing deals out with Mopé, buying stuff that we probably didn't want to buy because we're obviously playing around with a budget. We are playing around with a budget. Like, what makes you think that we've all of a sudden can spend loads of money? What makes you all of a sudden think we can spend loads of money?
There you go. The Everton board, coaches, staff, and owner do not agree on transfer targets.
There you go. Charles knows a bit. Charles, how much of which? Charles, do you know if we're going to be able to spend this window or not? I know he knows bits and bobs. Probably don't know because a lot of shit they do and they don't.
Are we surprised by that? Let's be honest. Is anyone actually genuinely surprised?
No, it's just like they're all comparing.
We're a shit show run by a clusterfuck.
They're all comparing Pokemon cards, see which one's got the best. Hey, Paul. I generally do think, like to say, to stay up, we do need players. But if you're going to go and freaking offer players shit money and try and get players with this shit, like we'll pay you now and pay the rest later on. We're always going to be the second best of players. We've already seen, like, we couldn't even get Diaz from frigging Blackburn because 20 million was too expensive. And then we've already seen that we couldn't get to the Kudus deal over the line, which if we had money, we probably would have been. So it is obviously the financial situation is a big problem for us at the minute. It's going to be a battle. I'm happy. The only thing that I am happy with is that we haven't got Keane in defence this season and Gomez in midfield. I know we say that we're shit, but
Gomez is doing very well.
You know, I've watched him. He's probably had one good game. He's not that good. We can't be that fickle to think Gomez would be the answer to what we're in now. The Premier League is frigging hard now. It's good. There's not shit players in it. Teams are packed with good players.
Next being cleared, Rondo and Keane, but have to pay more for new players in instalment plan. Stockpiling money to see if we stay up first. Well, that's reassuring, Charles. Thanks very much.
I honestly, do you know what though? You've just reminded me on this. I honestly think, and you'll all grill me for this. I think that we don't loan Keane because teams do want Keane. West Ham want Keane. Other teams want Michael Keane. Yes, he's shit, but teams need centre backs badly. So I think sell Keane, sell bloody Holgate, sell Decore. If teams are interested in these, sell them and just bring in some new players.
That's why I've not there.
Bring in some new players, I think, because I think that's going to be our way to buy players. Jeff is to clear a few out. And I do think players will buy those players. Teams will buy those players.
There's actual players available that wouldn't actually be that expensive as well. You know, that Diaz is down to the last 6 months of his contract. He's not going to be more than about 10 million quid. You know, we could try and get some players from the Championship on a reasonable fee as well. Like just to bolster the squad, not necessarily as first choice players, but at least to bolster the squad. So
I think we need some.
We've got players out on loan. We've got players out on loan that we can bring back as well. You know, a guy scored again today.
Yeah,
but isn't apparently good enough to start up front for us.
We've got players coming back. Yeah, Gabamin, Andre Gomez.
The thing is, though, so I just read a comment here. I just read a comment here, but honestly,
might not be good enough. Sims might not be good enough for Premier League.
I honestly think that Gordon was our best player today. I think if you take him out as well, we've got absolutely no threat whatsoever.
He's got a bit of speed doesn't mean he's got any.
Ryan, he closed down. He turned the ball over a couple of times. He got in positions. He made the runs.
Yeah, he wasn't the problem.
He wasn't the problem today. No, he looked like the only threat.
Well, we know he wasn't the chief problem. We know what the problem was. We've discussed it. It was two shit goals that we conceded.
Yeah, but you sell Gordon for 35 million. Who are you going to get good for 35 million? You're not going to get no one better than Gordon for 35 million because no one wants to come to us in this situation. No one.
We're fucking toxic. We had Gerard Deulofeu, who was brilliant when he played, whipping the ball into the box, sticking it on Lukaku's head, and causing havoc. And we was hounded out. Well, he wasn't hounded out, but the fans were on his back because he didn't have the fitness levels. Well, he's no less fit than Damari Gray or Anthony Gordon. But we didn't know what we had. We did the same with Lukaku. Everyone moaned about him having a poor first touch, couldn't trap a bag of cement, etc., etc. But I'm telling you now, if that was Lukaku running onto the one that Mopé had, he just bulldozes straight through the middle of the pitch and slots. So, you know, we have had the players. Sigurdsson, again, another one who was completely slated. Me and David were saying during the match, Sigurdsson and James Rodriguez, the long shot capability on those two, the quality of how they could strike a ball from dead ball situations or from open play was phenomenal. We haven't got anyone who can take a shot from long range. You saw Iwobi get into a really good position on the right hand side of the box today. It falls on his left foot, and you're just thinking, go across the keeper. You know, give yourself a little bit more of an opportunity there rather than hit near post, which is arguably a more difficult finish. And he just rolls it out of play. You know. And
we're going to give him a new contract on about 120 grand a week, apparently.
I wouldn't be giving him a 5-year deal. I think a 3-year contract would be okay. But again, it's a case of just sticking all your eggs in one basket. Liam, I know what you're saying about Sigurdsson, but scored a lot of goals for us from outside the box. And he offered a threat from midfield, which we don't have. We don't have a single midfielder who looks like scoring. Iwobi's got 1 goal all season in like 15, 16 appearances. It's disgusting. And he's meant to be the number 1 attacking midfielder.
I just read, come on, Wolves. I got a Wolves fan. I'm fair enough. Enjoy your win. Whatever. But it is frustrating. It is frustrating. But we haven't got no one that, from what you've just said, we haven't got no one that's going to rifle a shot in from far out. We haven't got that goal scorer, number 10. And everyone, I think Iwobi's a lot better and he puts a shift in. But he isn't that Maddison that's going to score from outside the box. He isn't that type of player. We haven't got a player that's going to knock one in top corner from the box. Let's face it, those free kicks, and I'm telling you straight, when Gordon had that free kick, I would have put my frigging every penny I've got that it wasn't going to go in. And when Gray had that free kick, I would have put everything on that it wasn't going to go in because we haven't got a player that can score a free kick or no Bainsy players. No, like you say, Sigurdsson wasn't a good example because he was shit free kicks, but he could score from outside the box sometimes. We do need those players. But whether we're going to get them, I don't know whether we're going to get those players. I do feel we've got to get rid of a few. I don't know what the answer is.
Dan, why should everyone hit this subscribe button? We're over 1,500 subscribers now. Thank you.
Well, if you want to watch my hair go grey in half a season, then click the subscribe button because it's going to happen. But we are an interesting. Ryan's got a bow tie on. Look at that bow tie on already.
Well,
nice. Do you know what though, Ryan? It must feel so bad to dress up and look so good, but feel so shit inside because you've just watched Everton. That is a
You've
difference.
got no
with-
idea, Dan, how many times, and even just doing singing at a wedding breakfast, for example, you know, where the match has been on at 3:00, and I might not have actually been able to go to the game as a result. And I've watched it, and I'm literally going straight on to entertain the people, literally with a face like thunder. I was grateful today that there was a small 2-hour window between the end of the match and actually going to work, but I really do feel like shite. And the thing is, I probably feel less shite than I have done normally. I'm a little bit more numb, and I think that's come from the fact that I just expect us to lose these days. I just expect us to.
This is exactly why, as far as I'm concerned, that's why Frank needs to go.
Yeah,
because we weren't desperately unlucky to lose. We weren't desperately unlucky to lose. Like, we're just rubbish. Like,
I think I know, but this is where I disagree.
You can't patch up. We had one shot that was saved. That was an actual, you know, a reasonable shot, but it wasn't a difficult save. Like, there was one that was hit straight at the keeper, like that. The one where Fingio went straight through, clean through on goal. But there wasn't any like top bins, you know. It wasn't like, you know, we were hitting in the corner and it was like a world class. There was no world class saves against us today. There was no kind of like.
Pickford had nothing to do.
Yeah,
and their keeper had nothing to do. It was just going through the motions, wasn't it? Really.
I get some Allardyce in, mate. Not some Allardyce. I get what's his name? Who's the other one? From
Nugget. You want Nugget, don't you? Nugget head.
From
Burnley.
Josh Nugget head.
Wow, I'm a Sean Dyche. And, you know,
I get Sean Dyche in.
Nothing out of these players.
But I would have got Sean Dyche in before, because I think he's just a better manager. Like do
you know what? It really pisses me off with Lampard, because I feel he's so close to being a good manager. I feel Lampard is close to being a good manager. I really do feel that he might be a good manager one day. He's just got a lot to learn, and we haven't got time to learn.
On what basis, Dan?
On what generally, like, I just look at something.
Sorry, genuinely.
Like when we had Benitez, he did a lot of stuff that I was pissed off with, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. Lampard put a team out today that I would have put out myself. Yes, I want Lampard to be shouting on the sideline when they ain't playing good enough, and I wish Lampard had a bit more aggression about him, where he kicked him up the backside and got these players a bit more hungry. That I feel like he needs to be as a manager, but that's not hard. He should just fucking do it. I don't know why he isn't doing it, but I feel like he has got the tools to be good. Lampard has, and a lot of players that we've got, by the way, wouldn't have come to Everton if we didn't have Lampard. So he is a pull.
I don't want them. I don't fucking want them.
No, you wanted Onana. We wanted Onana.
I don't want Mopé.
You wanted Cody. You wanted Tarkowski. They come because of Lampard.
I'm not bothered for those two.
If we didn't have like Tarkowski or
don't be blowing smoke up Lampard's arse because he's given Tarkowski a 5-year deal on 120 grand a week. Anyone would, of course, he'd be here regardless of Frank Lampard on that kind of money and that kind of contract and that commute to his home in the northwest. I'm sorry, I'm not having that as a.
No. You say what? Like I say, I am on the fence, 50-50. But you say what you're. I just feel like I'm 50-50.
Well, hang on, Dan. You're Lampard now. I'm interviewing for you for the Everton job. Why should I hire you?
What? I'm Lampard.
Yeah. Why should I hire you?
I'm 50-50 on Lampard. There's a lot of stuff I'm seeing that I don't like.
Why should I hire you?
I don't want Lampard. Like, you can easily persuade me not to fucking have him because I'm like I can go back to hating him. But the fact is, Ryan, Lampard's not going nowhere. They had a meeting, and no, but they had.
No one hates him. We just
not hate him. Wrong word. But I'm just saying they've had a meeting and they're keeping him. They've already had the meeting before this World Cup, and if he was going to go, he would have gone. So it's going to take at least another frigging.
But this is the Everton board
for him
who
to be
can't
gone.
find managers. You take 3 months to go and then recruit the same manager.
He's going nowhere.
3 months prior, so he's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to go anywhere because the board won't know how to replace him.
Yeah, I don't think it's going nowhere. And that's why I keep getting behind him, Ryan, because, yeah, there is loads of stuff. Like, for example, I think he's too easy on the players. I think after that Bournemouth game, he should have absolutely grilled them, and we should have seen a different team today, and we didn't.
Can we get the
I think he's too nice.
Get the post-match text. Copy it in.
Yeah, I think you chuck it on the screen. Apparently, Jeff's just said, chuck it on the screen, Ryan. You're the wizard.
No, I'm on the iPad now, and I'm.
I can't get it up. The whole text on the screen. I
think he should have come out and said, "Look, we didn't play well. We didn't move the ball quick enough. We didn't switch the play. We didn't cause Wolves a lot of trouble. Yes, we had a lot of possession, but it wasn't necessarily in good areas. We switched off at two very critical moments at the end of the game and after going 1-0 up. Two pivotal moments." And I want better from the players. Yes, we need a striker, and we're going to go and sign one for 100 million in January. That's what he needs to say.
Yeah, the 100 million
have to
striker
keep
will
working
be a part.
for the day it goes our way, Frank Lampard.
Oh, it's fucking Crimea River.
Time to go
Like a song lyric. We have to keep working for the
his
day
face.
it goes our way.
His face did drop. Do you know at the end when they scored, which I feel was Lampard's fault, by the way, bringing Decore on and not just shouting on the sideline for Everton to just hoof the ball up and get it away from our defence. Lampard's face was dropped big time. His face was like, holy fuck. He looked like, like steam comes out your ears and he was going to explode. He literally looked like that big time when it showed you him at the end when they scored. He was biting his lip and fucking, he was fuming. Like, he generally was fuming.
God. No, they didn't really hurt us too many times. Just twice.
One thing I will say where I will disagree with you lot today is I do feel we should have won that game. I feel we was better than them. I think we had a lot more possession that I thought than we would have had against Wolves because Wolves are normally a possession team with Matinho and all that. I thought we had the ball a lot. I felt we was down the wings. I just feel like we didn't take a chances. I really do feel like we should have took a chances more. Gordon had a one-on-one.
So,
Mupé should have been through. They didn't have no chances.
Going back to my old boxing analogy then before, right, is if I throw punches and I don't hurt you, do I deserve to win the fight? No, I don't. I don't, because if I just go like that I need to actually knock you out. I need to throw actual serious punches. Otherwise, I'm going to lose. We literally jab, did nothing at all. And then they got two really good chances and they buried them. They buried those chances.
By the way, I am so close to Lampard now. It's something he can't control, isn't it, though, Jeff? It is something he can't control, that is.
We deserve to get something from the game. We didn't. Because
why Gordon not scored that one-on-one? Yeah, but there's something that Lampard can't control.
Very good.
What can you do? Like, no, he just should have scored it. We're not clinical enough, and I don't think you can't get our players better at scoring.
We're not good enough, and that's why we didn't win, because our players are shit.
That's not Lampard's fault, though, is it? Like, generally, we say Lampard. But
David joined the stream. David joined the stream. He is commenting. Get in the stream, David.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if Gordon to miss a one-on-one, frigging, there's some of the chances that we could have scored. Lampard can't do that. He can't make them score. It's something they should just do by themselves.
Okay, so here's
and
the question:
defending is as well.
Who do we get? Who can we get?
Go and get Tammy Abraham from Roma if he wants to come back to England. That's the sort of thing I'd be sniffing around saying, look, you're English playing abroad. Do you want to come back to England?
He's not going to come to a team that's bottom of the fucking league, though, is he?
Played for Villa in the
problem.
I do. One thing I was going to say this. I do think it's going to be. Do you know where a lot of teams can buy players, and Man U will go and buy loads, and the big boys will go and buy loads, and they'll push some fringe players out that are still quite good. Say like someone like Anthony Martial from Man U, that is he can score a lot of goals. That sort of striker that a lot of big teams will push those players out. And if you can land on someone, like you said, Abraham as well, if you can land on a player that gets pushed out, he is good. But these big boys just want a bigger name, and you go and get that player. He could do it for us.
But that's what really annoys me about our club at the minute is because until he got injured last week, we were still trying to like get bloody who was that guy from Chelsea?
Brozier.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like we were still looking to try and sign him on loan in January, but he got like a bloody knee injury or something, and he's out for 3 months. And it's like, oh, what are we going to do now? And it's like, was that your plan? That was your plan. We're in the position we're in, and that was your plan for the January transfer window, is try and sign Brozier again on loan. What, at the end of January, when we've lost another like 4 or 5 games and we're bottom of the league?
How can we be in that
that's a
much of a
plan.
mess financially then? How can we be that desperate after 5 years of that really the bad window, the Lukaku?
Yeah, we're not bottom yet.
How can we be in that much of a state financially still now, coming into 2023?
Well,
we can't buy anyone and put it on the drip over.
I'll tell you. I'll give you several of the reasons why. Because basically, we've got a shit commercial department that, like, maybe now they're starting to get a little bit better, but for the last God knows how many years, they've underperformed, and we've got some of the lowest earnings of, like, you know, non-pitch earnings of any club. We've basically spent far too much on wages for years and years and years. We've had to pay for God knows how many managers for the whole remainders of their contract. So we've literally spent about 30 or 40 million on managers that were shit after we sacked them. We've been spending like 120, 130, 140 grand a week to sign players that were over the hill and past their best before we even signed them, instead of going out and looking for younger players, because we've got a shit owner and a shit chairman and a clueless bunch of idiots running the football club. That's why we've been in the financial mess, because we've wasted loads of money on names rather than going out and looking at a plan. And now we're in a situation where we're trying to do a plan, but we're behind the 8 ball now. So we've put ourselves in the shit, and now we're trying to plan our way out of it by careful, prudent spending. But now's the time when we actually need serious, proper investment. But I
thought we'd be holding back money for a few years, waiting for a good window to invest in. Or is that not right?
Yeah, but the owner doesn't want to spend more money, does he? Because it's like he's spent lots of money. He's invested. He's basically hired loads of shit managers and spent lots of money on buying players that we've ended up giving away for free after they've rinsed us for like 5 years of their contracts.
The thing is,
everyone needs them free.
When Moshiri come in, he's got all this money, so he doesn't bother about all the stuff that gets you money, like your big sponsors, your Mark Darcy that we've got now, your watch company that we've got now. But he wasn't bothered about that because he's got money. He's just saying, have this. I'm not bothered about Everton making money. And now you've got the guy come in, Farewell, who has he's got a good sponsor now. We've got the frigging Mark Darcy who will be giving us money. All this has just come in now. As soon as it comes in, it doesn't make you money straight away. It makes you money over time.
No.
So we need to wait now for this stuff to make us money. All the stuff is in place, by the way, now. And the Farewell's coming and give people, but you think to yourself, like, it says Farewell's give loads of people jobs now that we didn't have. And you think to yourself, why didn't we have that? Why didn't we have that? Why didn't we have that? Because Moshiri is running the club shit. It's starting to get run good now, which is too late. But if we can fucking stay in the Premier League and it's getting like this, it might be better.
You're saying we're not blowing a load of money. And also, you made a good point before about the stadium development. It's going really well. Well, Mazel Tov, congratulations to them. But that's because that stadium project has been delegated to experts from minute one, i.e. Blanco Raw have got a track record of these sorts of things. Dan Meese has got a track record. It hasn't been done in-house by the likes of Baxendale and Kenwright. I'm not going to give personal views on them today. I had a stinking experience today with the sponsorship people at the club who provided 4 tickets for the match today. Thank you, Steak, for agreeing to give me the 4 tickets. But when I went to collect the 4 tickets, one was for Jeff in the channel. There was only 2 tickets there, and it was an absolute nightmare. Someone at Everton hadn't put down that there was 4 tickets for Follow Everton and gave us 2, so Jeff couldn't go to the game. And that, for me, this is the sort of thing, the cynical thing that I expect. That's why I went the match 2 hours early. I almost expect cock-ups in every sort of aspect of this club, because it's like we can't get anything right. It really is like we can't get anything right. Carelessness,
incompetence. And yet, I think the most important thing is always stick to what you know. If you don't know, you hire the best person and put them in the best role. Are we going to do that? Are we going to start to do that? Now look at Brighton. I would literally be shadowing everything they are doing recruitment-wise. Every single scout who's going to a game.
I just want someone to buy us.
Fucking scout to the same match as the Brighton scout, and I would, if they're sniffing an offering, I'd be saying I want the same players, because everyone else seems to have an ounce of intelligence in what they're doing, and we seem to have lost the plot. The way I see it is, Ken Wright gets a call and it's Felwell, and he's going, "Oh, hiya, Bill. I've got one of my old players at Wolves, Ruben Villagra, and yeah, he's on Sporting at the moment, but he's looking for a way out. Should we get him here? You know, he was a good lad." And then there's another one, Tarkovsky. "Oh, let's go and get him because he's on a free." Oh, Tarkovsky joins and he goes, "Oh, by the way, my mate Dwight McNeil thinks he's too good for Burnley. Can we bring him here?" It's always like very, very short-sighted in everything we do. There's no grand plan. I doubt we've got a scout in Europe, in France.
Well, it did say Felwell's.
Hang on, Dan.
Go for it.
We're going in for players generally that we're leaving it to the stage where Alexa Kudus, he's too good for us now. You know, the ship sailed. Mudrich, we had the players probably, and potentially been recommended to us. I don't know. Maybe the agents have come to us and said, "We've got these players." But, we've missed the boat now, and it gets to a stage where they're too good enough for us. And this is why we probably can't bring anyone in. No one wants to come to us. But also is an element of very short-sightedness and a lack of risk-taking. And that comes from the fact we made that many mistakes before that we're not willing to make any more mistakes again. We can't.
We're also in a position now where, like, who's going to come to us that we actually genuinely want? Because, like, players, when they're looking to move to a club, they're looking for a club with a future, with prospects. They're looking for something with a positive upside. And they're going to be looking at us and seeing a shit show that's so poorly run. Are we an attractive club at the moment? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if we are.
Do you think the manager was delusional with his post-match? I mean, David put it up before, saying, desperately unlucky and we're waiting for things to go away. We're waiting and sleepwalking into something's not going to get us out of this mess. Taking proactive action.
That's my problem with him is that, like, if he is sitting here trying to soft soak this as if, like, this isn't a fucking disastrous result and a terrible result, and like, if he isn't going mental at the players and saying that this is a disgrace, this isn't good enough, like, we need to do better and all this kind of stuff, he doesn't even kick off. That's what annoys me, is like, he sort of like shrugs his shoulders and walks away and looks a bit sad, and then does some nice PR shit, and then says, "Oh, it's really unlucky. I will do better next time." And it's like, no, you won't, because look at what we were like before the World Cup, and look at us now. Are we doing better? No, we're not. Like, and we've got Man City next. Then we've got Brighton. We're not going to beat Brighton. We're not going to beat definitely not going to beat Man City. So that could be another two defeats, and then we're going to have Southampton, and then we're going to get knocked out the cup by Man United in the space of the next few weeks.
These teams like Southampton, where you'd have thought you could potentially get something against Southampton because they're slipping down the season. They've changed the manager, and you expect the bounce. Same with Wolves, same with Villa. They're taking action. We're sleepwalking. I've just done a tweet now saying that we're sleepwalking into the relegation. We have to be proactive. There's no waiting for something to happen, waiting for things to go away. We have to be proactive. I think it does come from the market, because ultimately we haven't signed the players with the pedigree. Whereas maybe before we had signed players with pedigree who'd underperformed. This is, I don't think we've signed players with pedigree to play in those forward positions. Damari Gray was an inconsistent winger at Leicester, went to Bayer Leverkusen, struggled there. We got him on a £1.2 million deal, brought him back. He was meant to be a squad player. Anthony Gordon is a youth product coming through. Far too much pressure and expectations being placed on him. And then you've got Dwight McNeil, who was at Brighton. They had a standoff over the contract. It freed him up. We overpaid on him. He's a squad player at best.
he's an Enner Valencia, from under Koeman, when we have 3 players in front of him and you just chuck him on for the last 10 minutes in some matches. That's who Mopé is. He's not.
God, I'd love to get Enner Valencia now.
Exactly. So, look, there's got to be money. I think there's got to be money because we've barely spent anything for years. We must be stockpiling money. We must have some sort of budget. We must have been getting some plans in place. Now, and
if we had money, we would have spent it.
Coming in on the 1st of January, then there's something seriously wrong.
If we had money, we would have spent it, though. If we had money, we would have spent it. Like I read a tweet earlier on saying we've got to pay $6 million for Cody, and if we would have paid it, he could have probably, if we would have paid it up, he could have played this game. We haven't even got the $6 million to pay for Cody yet. I don't think we've got a lot of money.
We're not going to waste $6 million on Connor Cody mid-season when we've got.
But I mean, do you really think we have got the money though, Ryan? Do you honestly, truly, deeply feel?
You know what? I don't have a fucking clue. But I'd like to think now, on a law of averages, that having spent nothing for 3 seasons and having 5 years or so since the financial fair play catastrophe with the recruitment, that we do now have something to bring.
Lampard already said. Lampard already said that. Here's one for you though. Lampard already said in his last interview, we need to bring a player in and we need to look at loans. Why would he say we need to look at loans if we've got money? We need to look at loans.
Game playing involved as well. But Kieran's asking, thank you for all the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video. We've only had 1 like on the video on Facebook.
You should have told them why there was loads on. There's like 120
Doesn't
people.
matter, there's still 83 people. We hit
I know.
On the stream. Thank you very much. I'd much
hit
rather
the like button. Hit the like button.
Much rather Everton were doing well. But Kieran says, what manager would you bring in? And this is a good point, Kieran, because I actually think we missed the boat. Unai Emery, who's gone to Aston Villa, would have been absolutely perfect for the role.
Oh, Eddie Howe.
Well experience. Eddie Howe at Newcastle, who had proven that he can at least embed an attacking style of football. And these are the sorts of things that I think at least then you've got something, a philosophy to get behind. Right now with Frank Lampard, I don't really know what the philosophy is. I don't know what I'm getting behind. I don't know what we're trying to do. And I'm also at the end of my tether because we're right. We don't have the confidence that we're actually going to bring anyone in January. Yes, I want to stick my head in the washer dryer and turn it on for 60 minutes and hope that I don't come out. But for now, we're gonna show a little bit more. Is there anything positive we can take? I mean, we've been on the stream for 2 hours. I do have to clock off in a moment because I'm due in a restaurant at 7 o'clock around the corner. But I am going to ask you about the Everton goal. Dwight McNeil takes a set piece, outswinger on Mina's head.
Good cross.
Good cross.
Finally.
And we should have stayed on top.
Really poor defending.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that as well. But let's just pretend it was a good goal. Good cross. Good cross. A good header by Mina.
But you thought that Everton were cruising at that point and that Everton would basically steamroll the game comfortably. No. You thought Wolves would get back into it. Had you seen signs at that point? Because I don't think I had personally seen many signs of a Wolves fight back.
No, I've just been watching Everton for a very long time.
This is one thing that does make me feel like, do you know where I say I'm 50-50 of a new manager? I do feel we need a manager to come in and change this. When you score a goal, sit back and shit your pants. We need a manager to come in, and when we score a goal, because we've done it all fucking season where we've drew games 1-1 because we've scored and sat back. We need a manager to come in, put some bottle into these players, right? No, you need, when you go one goal ahead, you've got to go for it.
We've established it was neither here nor there. We didn't sit back. We just went through the motions. If we'd have sat back and played in a low block, I reckon we would have snuffles out. They wouldn't have got.
We wouldn't. We would have conceded.
It was the fact that we didn't know how to go for broke or snuff it out. And
fuck off. We will not be hiring that knob.
The goal came against the run of play for Wolves. We were all over them up until the goal. That's what changed the game. Up until the goal, Wolves were not in it in the slightest. They got a lucky goal. The corner was absolutely cheap as hell, Jeff. Anthony Gordon makes a slide tackle, sends it out for a corner. He didn't need to really make the challenge. It's a cheap corner. Ball's into the box. Second phase of play. It comes out to the edge of the box. Everyone's attracted to the ball. Diego Costa's floating in front of Jordan Pickford. Don't know what you guys thought of that.
Every time we score, Ryan, every time we score, and we think in our heads we've got to protect the lead. And that's what we're thinking in our heads. Then we've got to protect the lead. And then we fall to pieces when we think we've got to protect the lead. Where when it's 0-0, We just think we've got to score and try and win the game, and we look good. Then we scored, but once it happens every time, right? When we score a goal, it does more bad for us than good. It does more bad for us than good.
What manager would I want ideally would be if I could have my free choice and if they were willing to take the job. What's that German guy who's manager of Brentford?
The Argentina manager.
I'll tell you the manager that you need now, that you would never, ever get him. But the manager that we need now, someone like him, is Simeone or bloody the Chelsea manager, Tuchel, that got sacked.
No,
you need someone...
slightly realistic.
You're never going to... I'm not saying you're going to get them, Jeff, but I just feel like these players are not getting a kick up the backside that they need, Jeff. And I don't think... every manager...
Who's the guy at Brentford?
He's
Thomas
good,
Frank.
Yeah, he's good. He's clever.
Thomas
he writes
Frank,
stuff down.
yeah.
He's got a notepad.
Yeah, I think
he's got a notepad. He is a good manager. He's got a notepad, but he did let them concede 2 goals after a 2-0 frigging lead today as well. No, all managers can be shit, can't they? You don't know, do you, with managers who to get? I just don't like these Everton players looking not arsed. I want them to get a kick up the backside and stuff like that.
So you could have stopped that sentence just there. I don't like these Everton players, and just stopped there. I just don't like
when I
these
was in the box office before with the ticket fiasco, and the woman said to me, "I've actually now got your 4 tickets." And I rang you obviously, but unfortunately you were unable to get here on time. And the woman said to me, she said, "I could have shed a tear for you," or something like, "I was about to cry for you at one point." I thought, like, you've done us a blessing in disguise, really, not giving him the fucking ticket.
Yeah, because I didn't have to fucking drive home in misery.
Yeah, but Jeff could have actually been our frigging lucky charm, so I blame them for not giving Jeff the ticket. Jeff made us win. Could have been the lucky charm of the game. We wasn't. Right. Do you know what though? I'm going to shoot as well. One thing I will say is like I said earlier on, which you probably just always disagree with me, but the new stadium is the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like things like we'll get a new owner when the new stadium happens, and we've just got to try and get behind this team now. I know it's going to be hard because other teams are better, but fact is you can still win some games sometimes. So we've got to try and get behind Everton. We will do as this channel, get behind Everton this season to stay in the league.
I'll go for my attempt at positivity. When we get relegated at the end of this season, which is going to happen, which is going to happen, then next year we might have a chance of actually winning something by getting promoted. No,
because we'll be liquidated. We'll be like, if we get relegated, we can go
finished. To get promoted next year, and that might count as actually winning something.
Well, I'm missing the next 2 matches. Not the Man City game, which is a complete shitting write-off anyway.
It'd be so Everton. Do you know what though? You're not going to grill me for this, but it would be so Everton to beat Man City. It would be so Everton. No, it would happen. No, but it would though, wouldn't it? It would be so Everton to beat Man City, and all of us start saying, "Oh, Everton are amazing," deluded like we normally are.
We haven't got the quality, the nous, or the heart to win there.
It would be Everton to do it.
The 3 things. You need at least one of the 3 things. We've not won there in 10 years. I'd send the kids or just absolutely go for broke and try something new. We know what Man City's weaknesses are. You know, it's the counter-attack. They get a lot of numbers forward. And if you can expose them 1v1, I think that's your best chance with a bit of pace. I wouldn't play Neil Mopé. I would play 2 strike. I would play Gordon and Gray as split strikers. I'd pack the midfield. I want to say I'd bring Decore in, but I really don't want to see Decore again. I don't want to see Holgate again. I don't actually want to see Ben Godfrey because I think he's like
I don't want to see Everton again.
I don't want to see them. And you know what? I'm going to the Caribbean on the 2nd of January.
You do.
I'm going to the Caribbean.
You'll be back.
I'm going to the Caribbean on the 2nd of January. The game versus Brighton, I'll be on the plane, so I won't watch. And the game versus Southampton, I won't be watching. And you know what? It'll be absolutely.
You will watch it, Ryan. You will watch it. I know what you like.
I'll do everything to find a stream.
I know you will. We're Everton, and we always will be.
On that note,
up the fucking toffees. Right.
Toffees. Thanks everyone for joining. Sorry,
we'll be back.
The result was miserable, and sorry for some of the.
I don't know whether we want to watch that back. I might have come out with some utter reactionary shite. But all I can say is,
but that's what it's for, though. That is what it's for.
we come on.
At
We
least we
come
haven't
on.
stabbed each other or done anything
That's
harmful.
what. Yeah,
like,
me and Jeff had a kick-off. We managed to last frigging 2 hours together, which is a miracle itself. But we've come on. We've all got stuff off our chest. Ryan's got stuff off his chest. He even said he's got red cheeks. He's that angry. I've got stuff off my chest. Jeff has. People in the comments have got stuff off their chest. That's what we're here for.
But
just let a bit of frustration out. And it's done now.
A last-minute winner for Wolves. I'm sat in the park and behind the goal. I can see the whole sequence of play coming. I wasn't soft like most.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
So, I stormed out. I wanted to go and punch someone. And that I came on, and I might have said some reactionary shite, but ultimately, I didn't think we played that well. We didn't create a lot of chances. I didn't see what the plan is. I don't know whether we're going to bring anyone in Jan, and we conceded in the last minute, and we're sloppy, and we're pathetic, and we're moronic. But apart from that, it's absolutely...
We go again.
Everything's wonderful.
Happy New Year!
I don't want us to ever play again. It was bliss, wasn't it, the World Cup?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I hope you all had we're going to end it now. I hope you all had a banging Christmas. Don't let that bother you. It's Boxing Day. Go and eat loads of goodies and stuff like that. Enjoy your family and do whatever you want to do. We'll see you all next game. Don't worry, we're in it together. Up the fucking toughest. End broadcast. Here we go. End broadcast.